Patience is a virtue, fast money ain't got no curfew. Living dangerously like Bounty Killer done told you. Paying my respects like bowing when in the dojo. Knowing how it is to hit the pavement moving solo. Fire in my paper, don't ask me what's in my solo. Duce got me feeling mad spiritual like his logo. Hit the cup, hit the joint. Compose, never nerves, head on with mine. My nigga, I took my time. Too many wanna skip the grind and get straight to the pay. Hop up in that foreign and go crooked the next day. Shoulda had went crooked when you was busy.
What's good, my people? Plant-Based is back.
Episode 3.
This is the Keeping It Based podcast with your host is really Kev.
It's your boy Prince.
And we're back, man, for episode 3.
For sure.
We know we've been away for a minute, you know what I'm saying? But we got a lot of news, a lot of stuff to talk to you guys about. It's been a good month.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
sure.
saying? A lot of movement, a lot of interaction, a lot of networking.
We back outside.
Yeah. So the whole team, the whole PB team actually went out to MJBiz.
Shout out to the PB team, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
for
sir.
clearing their schedule to push the brand. It was lovely.
It was super dope. We all went out to MJBiz. That's why you probably didn't hear from us for a minute.
Yeah.
But if you following us on socials, you saw all the activity going on. We also have some news from ourselves. PB finally had an architectural meeting. We got our first schematic plans to our floor plan of our space.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, so this process it's been a long process,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Like
Yep.
just like picking, going through, trying to find the best architect that could work with us, where we at, and then just kind of like talking to them and talking about all our ideas.
Right.
Because it's really like a creative process, but also like for operations, like you gotta design your store a certain way. So we kind of was going back and forth as a team, and then met with the architect team, and then what they came out with, the first draft was, whew.
Nah, it was fire. It was fire. I told P, I was like, yo, I had a dream, bro, that like I opened up my eyes and the store was just split in half and it looked fire.
Yeah.
And I never even mentioned that to the team or nobody.
Nah.
And you know, when we actually got the schematics work, it was just like that, bro. It was like I almost had a vision, I guess. You feel me?
When you know, you know.
Yeah, and it was like the dispensary on one side, the consumption lounge on the other side.
Yeah.
And we got some news to talk to you guys about that type of stuff too, because they have put out new work and new laws and rules and regulation for the CRC. So we'll tap into all of that.
But the plant-based store is gonna be an experience.
Facts.
And that's something that we're really like working towards, is making an experience. And so like we're just really excited about that outcome of the store. So shout out to the PB team, shout out to the architect team. We got some things in the way, and we definitely want to let y'all view that process. So we definitely gonna vlog some things so you can see like what it looked like at the start and then what's gonna look like at the finish.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if you guys haven't noticed, my guy P got a nice hat on right there, man.
You know, I'll be in the cut with my bucket on, man.
So we actually been working on merch. I don't know if you guys noticed, but last few episodes, first one, second one, you know, you probably see a little PB shirt on or something like that.
Yeah, we represent.
You know, show the little hoodie, a little emblem on the hoodie, man. You know,
PB, we outside, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We go.
So, you know, we were working on merch, doing schematics on that as well.
Yeah.
We'll have the first round of ideas out probably next week.
Yeah. We definitely got some stuff on the way. And this stuff, like, for us, is like for y'all, for like our family and friends, anybody that's supporting us, watching the podcast. Like, we want y'all to interact with us, be in the comments, because we're going to give away some shirts. So, you know, you could feel like you're part of the brand, because you are.
Yeah, facts. And like I said, this is the, you know, the trial run. We definitely been working with AO, who created the brand logo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She
Shout out
also
to
worked
AO.
on the merch as well. We got some stuff in the works, but we do want to get a few things out to the people, man.
Nah, yeah. And we kind of been like holding on to a lot of stuff, because just waiting for the perfect time to drop it. So we definitely got some stuff on the way. So, you know, gonna have some plant-based gear for y'all.
Right.
Let's get it.
Right. So we could get right into it, man. There's a lot of news. We actually went to MJBiz and found out more news. It's just
MJBiz was an experience.
Yeah, it was. MJBiz was. I would want to say, if you're getting into the industry, or if you've been into the industry, you should go at least once.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. A lot of networking, a lot of interaction with brands and people that you may have not known about.
Yeah.
It's 4 days of like real just like tapping into not only the culture but the business.
Yeah, and let's really get into that, because I feel like a lot of people see like these conventions and these educational things pop up. But what was like your biggest takeaway from the experience at MJBiz?
I mean, really, it was like the networking. Like the first day we got there, bro, we ran ourselves into the ground. Like we got there, landed, went to the conference center. We had like a first day like prelude pass before the actual events started opening. So we went there, tapped in with a lot of people. We wanted to make sure we saw all the keynote speakers. So we were running around trying to get to this one and that one and this one and that one.
Yeah.
And like we actually by like day 3 talked to somebody that was like, look, man, like speaking to the keynote speakers is cool, but like you really want to meet with the people, you know what I'm saying? Network, build relationships with brands and companies and people. Because you never know where you're gonna be in a year, and you never know where they're gonna be in a year, and you guys may be able to help each other.
Yeah.
So I think that was like really good new information
for sure.
And I really took that. You know what I'm saying? So from day 3 on, because we were there for about 5 days, like I really just started tapping in with the people.
Yeah, no, it was a great experience, and like for me, like my biggest takeaway was the representation. Like we always talk about like when we go out to different events, or like when we in different cannabis like educational events, like we don't see enough representation. But it was a lot of minorities out there. There's a lot of minority committees. We got to see like Black women in cannabis talking about like having multiple dispensaries or cultivation, so that representation was dope. Or like even like Hispanic companies that's going on in different parts of the country. So like we love that representation, just seeing like more minorities getting in the game, and like just together, like working together, supporting one another in new markets. So I thought that was my biggest takeaway from the whole experience.
Facts. Who was your favorite speaker?
Oh man, definitely I'm gonna go with Burner, just cause I felt like he was really helping people out understanding like how to push your brand, or like how to move into different markets. And it's really all about partnerships, right? Like, and that's my key takeaway from that. And I think that's big, because for us, like we couldn't do this without our team. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so like helping other people get up and running in different places, or like in different sectors of the business is great. And being able to work together and get each other to that point, right, where your business is operational and you're making money, because this is a game changer. Like this is like where you could kind of take care of your family, and your family will be good for a bunch of years. So
Facts.
What about you?
I think it was listening to Tremaine, okay. Right? Head of OCM in New York. She was really just like laying it out there. Like, look, we know we got things going on in New York right now. But we are leading the way in how we're going to create the social equity brand and company.
Yeah.
For applications, and she was just like, she was taking all the bullets that were being thrown at her. She was taking them, dodging them. You know what I'm saying? Making sure she spoke right. And I actually do like what New York is doing right now. Like New York is really leading the way when it comes to social equity. So shout out to Tremaine, shout out to the OCM.
Yeah.
That was a big highlight for me, for real.
Nah, for sure. And so like, since you brought up New York, let's get into some market updates.
Okay.
Tell the people what's going on in Jersey. We've been going for a little bit, so it's a lot of things happening in Jersey. So let's get into it.
It's a lot. So I think we probably haven't talked to you guys since the last 2 CRC meetings. So I'm gonna just give you a quick rundown. The last CRC meeting, they actually announced 113 new conditional licenses. Prior to that, I think they did like 130 the month before.
Yeah.
So they're just shelling out those conditionals quickly. And the annuals, they actually got 26 as a whole right now, annual licenses. That's people that converted from medicinal to adult use. Those are people that actually switched over from conditional to annual as well.
Yeah.
So you got a handful of annuals that's finally out. Once again, there is no minority-owned operational cannabis companies yet in Jersey. But I think they're gearing up for the new year, where they have some more meetings. Hopefully, PB's on that list.
Yeah.
And a lot of other minority businesses is on that list. So
For sure.
we can get it rocking, man. We ready. So
Yeah. PB waiting, man.
Yeah, we
We're
waiting.
ready to go.
We waiting.
Yeah.
Another rule and reg that they actually put out was consumption lounge. This is something that they mentioned probably, I want to say 3-4 months ago, but they really just started tapping in and even highlighting it. And, they decided that they're going to make it an endorsement and almost like a extra license that you have to get.
Yeah.
But you have to have a retail space in order to get the consumption lounge license. So, once you do that, they're able to say, okay, you got to pay, I think it was $5,000 for the license for a consumption lounge, 21 or older.
Yeah.
No food, tobacco, or alcohol can be sold inside of the space. Of course, you have to make sure that it's compliant with the exhaust and all that good stuff. Yeah. But they made it really general for right now. I think they're trying to, fill it out and see what's going on with the consumption space and how many people apply.
Usually before they drop the official rules, they put out like feelers, like things that they feel like is supposed to be up there for consumption lounges. And then they'll come out with the official rules once they feel comfortable. In Jersey, they allow people to kind of give their input. So I mean, it's dope that they got consumption lounges on the way. I know that's something that's going to be big in like Jersey City. They was really pushing for that. Maybe like Hoboken, things of that nature. But just like the eatery part of it too, I think that would be cool too, just to add on. Like if they allowed you to infuse, or like a manufacturer that does like infused foods or something like that, to be able to come to a space. Because I think that add an extra dynamic to the consumption lounge.
No, that's a fact, for sure. And I mean, along with that, that might be something that they look forward to in the future. Yeah. But in 2023, they did announce also that they're going to be releasing distribution, wholesale, and delivery licenses. All right. So 2023, those are open. I know a handful of people are waiting for those. Shout out to the people waiting for those. Delivery is going to be a game changer for sure. Distro going to be a game changer for sure. You got to really test the people and see, who really understands quality control, know what the good bud tastes like, good batches come like. So it's going to be dope, man. Jersey's moving along.
Yeah, Jersey's opening up. And that's why we talking to y'all like in every podcast about like how to get in the industry. Because if you're interested and you got experience in some of these fields, like, distro might be like you worked at UPS or Amazon and logistics or things like that. So if you familiar with some of these industries, really tap in, read the rules and regulations. They're out. See what you're gonna need to get up and get started.
Facts. And the last thing for Jersey that they discussed, and I think this is gonna be really helpful for a lot of people that are getting these licenses and really don't know how to run a cannabis business. You know what I'm saying? They have an action plan team that are actually gonna help entrepreneurs understand the cannabis business. In all different aspects of it. So if you're actually going to be a business owner, they'll help you with that. If you're looking to work as a bud tender for retail, a picker, a packer, all these different aspects, they're going to actually help you understand how to get into the industry, how to get a skill set, and, go from there.
Yeah. And that's super dope. And like even just transitioning to New York, like New York has similar resources, and we're gonna put some of those resources as we find them out in the comments below, just so you guys can see like what's going on, what things you can tap into, like if you wanted to get experience in the field before you kind of open your own thing, or even if you want to open your own, like there's some resources out there that help support you to go through the application process.
Facts.
And we want you guys to have that information because it's really important.
Hell yeah. So we always going to put, stuff in the description below so you guys can tap in on a lot of the stuff that we highlight. But P, let's get into New York. New York had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Let them know.
New York is moving. So like Kev talked about before, this social equity program in New York is something like different, like that we've never seen before. Like just to compare it to New Jersey, like New Jersey let like multi-state operators, right, that started the medicinal portion of the cannabis industry, they let them transition over to kind of start the New Jersey market for adult use, right? So New York has kindly been like totally against that. Every license has been specifically for or catered to specific
MSOs,
groups, right? So far the cultivation licenses are out, the processing licenses are out. Those are like the manufacturers. And now they just announced 36 card awardees, right? So for the people that didn't tune into episode 2, the card applicants are like for retail dispensaries, but you had to qualify. In order to be eligible, you had to have 2 years business experience, and you have to have a cannabis charge in New York, right? So they open up from start basically to grow it, now to retail it. New York was supposed to open before the end of the year, but I mean, time is ticking down. So
only got a couple more days.
Yeah, so they probably start at the beginning of next year, 2023, which is fine. I think people have been waiting for it.
Yeah.
And so far, it's been like the Wild Wild West in New York.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah. Everybody want a piece because it's gonna be the biggest market. So
yeah, no, and like billions of dollars. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how they roll it out. But New York is ready from cultivation to retail dispensary. They're gonna be ready by the start of the year. So if you guys didn't know, the CAR program, right, the social equity comes with like a social equity fund, right? Like this is a $200 million fund, right? And it's geared towards helping these retail dispensaries basically like pay their rent, build out, and to be able to like hold their space for a while. Yeah. And me and Kev, we've been doing this process for the build out right now.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It can be really expensive just from like working with the architect team to kind of build out the schematics, right? Having like a security expert kind of go over that, right? Because it has to be secure. And then like the actual build out, right? Like you could spend like thousands and thousands of dollars. So
hundreds of thousands.
right. Big fact. So it's good that this fund is out there. And so the governor of New York actually named the management team for the fund, right? So this huge $200 million fund is going to be kind of managed by Chris Webber. So if anybody's a basketball fan, they know Chris Webber, multi-year All-Star, right? Like straight killer, led the Sacramento Kings to the Western Conference Finals a bunch of times, battled against the Lakers.
Okay, stat line.
You know what I mean? Show up some love. So he's going to be managing this fund. But there was some discrepancies because if you don't know, Chris Webber does have a lot of experience in the cannabis field.
Yeah.
They do cultivation, they do retail, but they do also have business partnerships. And one of his partnerships is with cookies. So a lot of people was like, I don't know if we want him to manage this fund because he cool with cookies. And, you know, as we know, Cookies already got a storefront in New York.
Cookies already here. Heavy.
So, like, people were like, we don't know. But the governor thought, you know, with his experience and, you know, the way he pitched that he was probably the best person to run the fund. So him and his business partners that Players Only are going to manage that fund.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's super dope. In other news in New York, the rules and regulations dropped. Right. So this is big news. Like Kev talk about New Jersey is like add-ons to the rules and regulations with the consumption laws, but this is the complete rules. This is like the first real wave, and we still kind of going through it.
Yeah. We just started it. This is the comment period. So what's helpful is that you can comment, and if you do have a lot of experience, like from the legacy market going into, you know, the actual legal market, you can actually let them know like, yo, this is not gonna work in this operation wave that you have it, and they'll listen. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, you can't swindle them, but you could tell them like, yo, the way we go seed the sale most efficiently is XYZ. You know what I'm saying? And they might actually listen. So that's an interesting point. You do have a say in like how the rules and regulations are, how the market going, but at the end of the day, like the OCM was gonna have the final say. But yeah, they just dropped the rules. And some basic rules as far as like the tracking, like how it's going to be tracked, or like the hours you can operate, like how far you got to be from a school. There's always some zoning stipulations there, how you can market. So the rules and regs are out. Of course, we're going to have that information for you below. So tap in, check out the rules and regulations if you're interested in opening up in New York, because the market is really about to open. They already announced that they're going to start delivery licenses in the start of the year. So the market's really opening up right now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a lot of things coming out of New York.
Yes, sir. So another thing, it's a New York native that's getting into the game. Diddy is actually hopping into the game, and he purchased about $185 million valued deal, evaluated with Columbia Care, I believe it is.
Yeah.
He's going to be getting in the New York, Illinois, and Michigan markets. You know, there was a lot of unbalanced kind of like countering of like, yo, what is Diddy doing? Is he really for the people, for the minorities, or is he going for, you know, to work with the MSOs to make his stake in that landmark? But, you know, I'm hopeful that he's going to put more minorities under, you know what I'm saying, what he's doing and try to make a legacy through that. But, you know, shout out to Diddy getting into the game.
Big moves.
He going to get into everything that he could put his hands on as he's interested in. So shout out to Diddy, man.
Yeah, I think it's only right. Diddy already came out with the liquor, right? So, like, Ciroc going crazy. Like, so now it's only right for him to get in the cannabis game.
I mean, you know, he's one of the most culturally affluent people for us, you know what I'm saying? Because he started Bad Boy, you feel me? Like, that was almost like the flag in the ground for New York, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, anything else that comes about that is part of hip-hop or minority or black culture, like, he wants to be tapped in with that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it makes sense.
Yeah, and you know, cannabis, like, I feel like there's a movement, like, for the culture to get involved and really, like, expand on, like, what it's really like, or, like, what the events are going to be like, or how we market things, or, like, the names of the companies. So it's a lot of different things that I think he's going to bring to the table that's going to be different. And it's going to be, like, the first minority-owned MSO. So that's also a big thing. You know what I'm saying?
Super big.
It's really difficult to be completely owned by a minority in this business just because of the money. You can't go to banks to go get money. So like, a lot of the investors are always going to make up, like, that percentage.
Yeah, yo, Diddy, you know what I'm saying? Like, create that lineage now with that, you know what I'm saying? Because him being the first minority-owned MSO, like, that could trickle down in so many ways, you know what I'm saying? We know Jay-Z has Monogram, but I don't know if Jay-Z is valued at a scale like Diddy right now when it comes to the cannabis. So, you know, we ready to see those people kind of really, like, trickle it down, man, to the other minority owners getting into the game.
Yeah, and I think that's just a blueprint too. Like, Columbia Care selling the Diddy for $185 million. Like, if you are able to get licenses in multiple states or different licenses in one state, you know, like, that makes your value go up. And so, like, you know, you could sell your business for millions of dollars if you put it together, right?
Right.
And that's why, like, it's a big part to have a team, because it's really hard to run one business. So you don't want, like, to run different parts of businesses in multiple states. Like, you got to have a really good team. So yeah, partner up, you know, work together. Like, this game is profitable. You can make some money.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and segue, right? There's a lot of new states that just put out, you know, applications for adult use, medical, all that good stuff. We actually met a lot of dope people from, like, Maryland when we were out at MJBiz that's getting into the game, because Maryland just actually passed through the, I guess, the governing run. They actually passed a law that recreational cannabis is going to be allowed. So we got Maryland, we got Connecticut, Rhode Island, Missouri, and I think I'm missing a place. Minnesota, PA. I don't think PA's ready yet, but they're coming in next year.
Connecticut.
I already said Connecticut, right? So all those places that we named, they're getting into the game as of now. Like, Connecticut just put out applications, so people already been applying to Connecticut. Rhode Island put out applications, I want to say, a couple weeks ago. So, you know, the Northeast is going crazy. You know, plant-based wants to be a part of everything in the Northeast, you know what I'm saying? We making sure we tap in. Like P said, make sure you know, partner with certain people if it makes sense. That's how, you know, more minorities can get into the game.
Yeah. I mean, like, what we're talking about is, like, a lot of states are looking at their neighboring states and seeing, like, how much money they're making. You know what I mean? Like, when people see, like, Jersey, you know, made, like, $200 million in 4 months, and you right next door, you thinking, like, oh, all right, like, why wouldn't I open up my market to see, just to explore, to see what it's going to do? So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of opportunity out there. And, you know, we trying to provide the information so y'all can tap in, man.
Yes. So we'll put everything that we know, like you said, down in the description below. But those people in Maryland, Connecticut, Rhode Island, get ready. You know, get ready for the ride. If you want to get into the game, now's the time.
Yeah, and when we was at MJBiz, they were saying PA's on the way. So
PA's like real slow,
yeah. So it's a lot of things out here that a lot of states out here that's looking to open up the market.
Facts. So now we're actually getting into, putting you guys on to how to actually, apply for some of these applications.
Yeah. We do a little bit of education every
We do, you know what I'm saying?
episode.
We try, the first two, we were just kind of giving you like the rundown on everything that you need. Now we're going to get into like a lot of the meat and potatoes of the thing.
Yeah.
We really want to make sure that you understand like, okay, let me gather this information because this is just one part. You know what I'm saying? Like there's multiple parts of applying for these applications, and I haven't seen all applications, but I feel like most of them kind of run similar.
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna get into business plans. You feel me? I'm gonna give you like 9 steps on how to put together a business plan. And if you guys don't really know what a business plan is for, it's really just to be able to explain what your business is, how you're gonna run it, what you're doing, and put out your brand. Like how does your brand work in unison with who you are, right?
Yeah. And I think it's important to give context to this. Like, Kev, we on like draft 2, 3,
like 3 or 4
of our business plan, right? And it took us that long to get to that point because you really need to know like your business, like from the name to like what makes you different from other businesses, like your team, like where you want to be in 5 years. It's a lot of the different parts to this. And if you really haven't had those conversations about what your business is or where you're going, like it's hard to put a business plan together.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
And like Pete said, you have to really know like the minute details, you know what I'm saying, of your competition and plus what you're doing.
Yeah.
You feel me?
And I feel like for us, it took us like working with that first group to do our first business plan to realize like we didn't really know
exactly what we wanted,
and where we're going and how we were going about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took like having those conversations and like everything we kind of like putting you onto is from our experience, right? And we felt like this was a major key for us, especially like just being prepared for the next steps. Because when we met with our attorney, like he thought that we didn't have nothing. Like, yo, like, all right, let's start doing this. We was like, yo, we already got a business plan. We already,
came in there with everything.
Yeah, like we already had a lot of work done. So this was a major key in us even like completing the application. So we want to drop this jewel for y'all today.
Facts. So we'll start straight out the gate. On your business plan, you have to have an executive summary. So that executive summary is basically stating like summarizing the company, what you're gonna do, how you're gonna go from market to consumer, what you're selling, everything like that. Your team. Executive summary is just summarizing that in a short, maybe a paragraph or 2 or maybe even 3, depending on how detailed you want to get. But it's just a summary, right? It's almost like a prelude to everything that you're gonna write in your business plan. Second, you have to describe your company. So basically saying what your company's doing. Like Plant-Based is a retail cannabis brand and dispensary, right? We don't only want to create ourselves as just a dispensary, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to actually be a brand. So we make sure we make that significant in our actual summary and our actual description of the company. We talk about what we're gonna sell, right? That's actually another point on here, like products and services, like listing that out. Listing out that we're gonna have rosin, flour, edibles, everything that, of course, being compliant, what you're allowed to have in your store and what services that you're going to have. Delivery, consumption, even like if we were doing an eatery, a restaurant style, cafe, like putting everything in there. Because these things actually help when you pitch to investors, as well as it helps if you go to a bank, right? They can understand like, oh, they really thought this thing out. They know exactly how they're going to get their product line. They know how they're gonna get the customer. They know how they're gonna use their POS systems. Whatever the case is. Next is market analysis. Market analysis is super big because the only way you know how you're gonna be effective is if you look and see what else is going on around you in your market. You know what I'm saying? So like you can start as small as like town to town. right? City to city, and then you actually expand out to say, let's go state to state, let's go regional, let's go nationwide, and be able to compare like, somebody who had the same business model as me did XYZ in finances for spending or for revenue. And now, I can actually say, I'm doing something similar. My population is this.
Yeah.
I should probably run these numbers and do this much amount of money.
Yeah, I think the market analysis is really important because I feel like your business plan, you're giving it to people, they might not know anything about the cannabis industry. So you basically really describing what the market is looking like overall, and then kind of narrowing it down to your area. So it's like you even getting it down to like what your customer base is going to be like, and like compared to the people around you. Like just the same way, like if you was buying a house, you want to look at like the neighborhood to see how much houses are going for. Like you want to see what businesses in your area are doing. So if the markets are open, you could kind of get that idea. If it's medicinal, you could check the medicinal market and see what it's like in your area. Or then you could look at a neighboring state, right? And kind of compare that. So I think market analysis is really key.
No, for sure. And especially because this is cannabis, you have to be super detailed and you have to educate whoever you're giving this business plan to, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people, it's still super new, even though, it's been happening on the West Coast for, a good amount of time. Like it's still brand new to a lot of people. Like when Prince and I started pitching and started talking to people and meeting people, they were actually surprised at how much knowledge we had about it.
Yeah.
Because we did our homework and we went and tapped into California, we tapped into Canada, we tapped into Washington, Seattle. You know what I'm saying? Like we actually found out the information that we needed to know and we put it all in our business plan. So they felt comfortable understanding that, these people know what they're talking about. They've done their research and I do feel like they can execute.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Number 4 is outline your management and your team, right? So basically give a rundown of, everybody on your team, what positions that they hold, what experience that they have, and how does their experience correlate to what you're getting into, right? So it makes sense that, I have retail experience, right? Prince has community service experience. We should actually probably do something for the people, sell things for the people, create organizations and groups and community for the people, right? It doesn't make sense for me to go into cultivation, right? Because I don't know anything about growing. Prince doesn't know much about growing, you know what I'm saying? So you do want to make sure like, okay, let's give that correlation of my actual experience in the field. If you haven't grew up in cannabis, like give your actual experience and say like how it could be correlated and show that you can execute.
Yeah. And I think like a big thing for us was like kind of taking like your ego out of it.
Yeah.
Like when you building a team, like for us, it was like the CEO, the COO have to understand how to run a business, how to run operations. It's not about like, oh, I want the title.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like kind of take your pride out of it because it's really about getting this business up and running and it being operational. Like, for us, Kev's the CEO, I'm the president. Like, I don't care if I was, you know what I'm saying?
Well, to us, it's the same shit. Like, we just have different experiences.
Yeah, for sure. And then you kind of want to list all the way down to like who's even going to be in your store. Like, if you're going to have a manager, if you're going to have a shift supervisor, bud tenders, you know what I'm saying? All the way down to like security, just so people can understand like who's going to be at the top, who's managing this, and then like who's going to be working in your store and like what are they going to be doing there.
Facts. And then the last one I'll tap into it and I'll give it over to P is customer segmentation, right? So understanding like who's your target audience, you know what I'm saying? Who you're going for, how is it separated through the industry that you're currently in your towns, and the towns next to you. Like what does it look like? Is it, like for us in Plainfield, 60% Hispanic, right? Other 30 is African American and Black, and then we have 10% that's other, right? I don't even want to say anything else. It's just other.
Right.
Like understanding that helps us a lot in how we're gonna operate the store, how we're gonna staff the store, all those different type of things. So you want to really understand, like, okay, who am I looking for? Who am I targeting? And that gives you a better understanding of how to market, how to brand. And P, you could go take it from there too.
No, and just to add to that, I feel like even like how you can expand on that that customer, right? Like if this is your customer base, how can you expand on that, right? Like people turn 21 every year. So like who is in the age range of 18 to 20?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like how many people might be. So it's like kind of just explaining that out so they know like, oh, every year you getting more people, and estimated this how many more people are going to be eligible in like a 20-mile radius to our store.
And tell them like marketing is tough, right?
Yeah. So marketing plan is the next part of it, right? So like marketing is really tough. Like you can tap into your rules and regulations on this because they'll tell you what you can't do, right? Like a lot of rules and regulations would be like, you can't put like a billboard, or like you can't be on TV, or if you do put like any type of advertisement, it has to be this far from X, Y, and Z. And like, so that's why like most of the times, even like with Monogram, you see them like have a commercial on Instagram. But like even people say on social media, like they be promoting like cannabis businesses and the accounts be getting shut down.
Yeah.
So, you know, you really have to be creative in that, see what you can't do in your area, right? And then kind of like be creative in what's left for you to do and like how you're gonna roll it out. It's a lot of different ways to do it, and we had to be really creative in that.
Right. And I mean that was like, I think that was a big key that we learned in Vegas, like the fact that there is no cannabis hashtag on any social media, bro. Like you can't put cannabis, you can't put weed, you can't put hemp, you can't put anything correlated to weed. It's not a hashtag. So people started creating hashtags, and hopefully it catch on fire, and then the rest of the community could kind of hop on to be able to market and brand. But that makes it difficult for you to find like a creative way to actually get the brand out there and push the product, right?
Yeah.
Next is like,
we got to remember that like all your customers not even on like social media.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of older people that like are cannabis users and are gonna pull up to your store. So like you got to be really creative.
Yeah. And next is operations, right?
Yeah. So even when you apply for a license, right, you need an operations plan, right? So this part in your business plan is like a summary. Like it's gonna be like what you're gonna use to build out into the operations plan that you're gonna put in your for your license, right? So it's basically like how you're gonna run from start to finish, right? Like when you're gonna open, when you're gonna close, what does opening looking like? What does closing look like? What's the daily operations look like? Like if you're getting deliveries or you're doing delivery, like what does that look like? You know what I'm saying? Even down to like the tracking, which you could probably get from the rules and regulations. So this is like a major key because it just lets me know, like if I'm an investor and I've never invested in a cannabis business, like you know what's gonna happen from start to finish. It just makes me feel more comfortable that you have a plan, right? And then when you have to apply for the application, right, for your license, you just build out that plan to make it more detailed. So like the state knows that you know what you're doing from start to finish. Another major key is a financial plan.
Gotta have it.
So like when Kevin's talking about like understanding your customer, right? Like understanding your customer base, right? And he's talking about the market, right? And products and services. All these things are really important to kind of helping you understand your financial plan, right? Because one, you need to know like how much everything costs, right? Like how much is going to cost me to get this product, to sell it, or to provide this service, right? Like how many people I'm gonna have working, right? So like all this, like your budget for the year, and then like it's like how much money you're gonna need to operate for the year, then like when you're gonna get out the red, right? Like so you might need $500K to start for your first year, right? Your first year you might not make $500K, so you might still be in the negative, but by year 2 or 3 you start making some money, right? So if I'm an investor, because you can't go to a bank to get financing, right? If I'm an investor, now I know like, all right, in 3 years, I should get my money back. In 4 years, I should get my money. In 2 years, I should get my money back based off what you're saying to me. And like, lets me know if this is a good investment or not. So like, I felt like the financial plan is like literally the information you're getting from all the things that you started with in your business plan to kind of narrow it down and put it in numbers, and then help like me as a person that wants to get money back from this. Or like even if you find a financing opportunity, to let people know like, all right, well, in this amount of years, I'll be in the green, and this is why I'm a good investment.
Facts. Major key. And I mean, this is early. I'm talking about this a little early, but be sure you have an accountant that understands cannabis.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, on your team. Just because it's so different from every other industry in the world. Like, it's not even federally legal, so that already kind of like puts us back, you know what I'm saying, a little bit further than other businesses. So that's a major key.
Now, yeah, we get taxed differently, right? And
280E.
Yeah, we're going to tap into that in a different episode just to give y'all insight into that. And hopefully with all this news coming out the White House, Biden kind of deschedules marijuana and we, makes it federally legal, and then the taxing could be a lot different. But it's something for you to know if you're getting in the industry to understand like what you can do to kind of write things off and what you can't.
Facts. But you know what I'm saying? We spilled out a lot of news, gave you guys a lot of experiences from MJBiz. And I mean, we're going to be putting out a vlog soon on the whole experience. So make sure you tap in, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff so we can put that out. But let's get into the culture, man.
Oh, yeah. I love the culture.
We did a lot in Vegas. We came back to New York from meeting people in Vegas and did a lot here, too.
Yeah.
We've been moving. We've been on go since we last spoke to you guys. I'm gonna try to go in some type of order, right? So before we left Vegas, New York Cookie Store opens, 34th Street, Herald Square.
It was crazy.
Went crazy. Gumbo pulled up, helped New York acclimate cookies to the East Coast culture.
Yeah.
Brought dirt bikes out. They shut 34th Street down for about 20, 30 minutes. Everybody pulled up, rappers, people that's in the culture, people from the legacy market, regular people that just love cookies and love burner. They
it was
pulled
an experience
up.
for sure.
It was super dope. So the store, and I got a little bit of the store, but not too much, right? So you can't miss it. Big blue store right on the corner, with the big C on the side.
Yeah.
When you go inside right now, it's just merch downstairs, but eventually that'll turn into to the product once they actually get their license. You go upstairs, there's a consumption room on the second floor. You go upstairs to the third floor.
You go upstairs.
You feel me? You keep going up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a different model. You go up to the third floor. There's actually a space for Cookies U. So if you don't know, Cookies does have a university where they teach people about the industry. So he's gonna actually have that opening up on the third floor.
That's fire.
And then you go upstairs to the fourth floor, and there's actually outside consumption area for events, all that good stuff. Super dope, super fire. Shout out to Cookies. It was a good drop, man.
Yeah, nah, that's an unbelievable space. And they really thought through like how they was gonna do it. It's super creative, so I'm excited for when they start opening up and they actually selling product in there. Yeah. But you could pull up right now and check out some of the lounges, right?
Facts. You could pull up right now. Go up to the second floor, smoke. You got to bring your own bud, of course. Only bring fire though in there. Don't bring no bullshit. You feel me? Like bring your best of your best, man. But yeah, that's what it is right now. It was super dope, super fire. But you heard me mention Gumbo. So
shout out to Gumbo.
Gumbo been going crazy in New York for like I don't know how long. Like I just been hearing about Gumbo for probably like the last 3-4 years. Just like Gumbo. So we actually headed to Vegas at this point, right? We left New York. We out in Vegas now. Mm-hmm. We tap in. We touch down. Gumbo is actually having the drop in Vegas when we touch down. So it was super dope to get to see these gentlemen twice, you know what I'm saying, back to back. They actually put a Madison Square Gumbo drop in the Las Vegas Cookie Store. I believe the strain is only in a couple stores out there right now, but it was a drop the same weekend as MJBiz.
Yeah, it was
nice
crazy
marketing.
in there too.
Yeah, it was crazy in there. We met a lot of people. Shout out to Ball Family Farms. Right? We met them in there.
They coming east too. That's exciting news.
Ball Family Farms. They look like they got fire too. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah, Gumbos and Cookie, they was moving crazy. Like they had the Gumbo bus, Gumbo/Cookies bus moving through Vegas. Yeah. So it was dope how they kind of rolled that out.
Facts. It was super dope. So they had that drop there. And then Gumbo actually spoke at so MJBiz Con had like a mini black MJBiz Con inside of the whole convention center, right? So in the booth areas, Black Cannabis magazine, they actually hosted a booth, and for the whole day, they just have young Black entrepreneurs from legacy and from brand new markets just pulling up and speaking. And it was super dope. We seen a lot of like empowered Black women that's in the cannabis space in Michigan, Ohio, and LA, I believe.
Yeah.
We got to see Gumbo was speaking with Redman, Exhibit, and a couple other people that we known that, you know, has been into cannabis for a while.
Yeah. The representation, man. It was
crazy.
lovely to see. Like, we in the industry and we doing well. Like,
Facts.
it was good to see.
Facts. Peaks was in there. We saw Peaks do a little virtual, I guess it's a NFT type of drop type of thing. He was in there. So it was dope to see, you know, Black people that's like really on their own time, doing their thing, 100% owners, managing their companies coast to coast, state to state. It was fire.
Yeah, Redman got a whole movement going.
Facts.
So like,
I've been seeing him everywhere, like especially in Jersey. He everywhere in Jersey.
Yeah. So that's dope, man. Like we out here, man. We pushing the culture forward. I love it.
Yo, Redman, we got a link with you, bro.
We in Jersey, man.
We in Jersey, man. We got a link with you. Last stop, I'm giving you guys like a little tour, man.
Yeah.
So last stop in Vegas, we there. And if you guys been listening to the first and second episode, we mentioned Happy Monkey.
Yeah.
We mentioned Booty Chief. That was an actual lounge in Midtown that was super low key. We were going there back in 2017, 2016, I feel like.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. We end up getting word at the convention center that like, yo, there's a Shangri-La party. You guys should pull up.
Yeah.
Shout to Meadow Team for giving us that plug, right?
For sure. Shout out to the Meadows team.
Yeah.
Showed us mad love at MJBiz, man.
Facts. So we pull up to the party, no ticket, no invite, no nothing. We just there at the front like, yo.
Regular New York stuff.
Regular New York shit, you feel me? So we pull up, Cat at the door showed us love.
Yeah.
We got in there. It was an indoor-outdoor party. Met a lot of different people from a lot of different markets.
Yeah.
It was super dope, super cool. And then we look up in the sky and there's a big billboard over our head and it says Happy Monkey Party. And we like, damn, look at that. We found our way to a Happy Monkey Party on the West Coast.
Came full circle. Yeah, because we've been rocking with them for a while. So it's dope because we haven't really been seeing them throw too many events on this side. So the stadium's still working. So we hoping that they coming back east too.
Nah, yeah, they definitely doing stuff. It's just, you know, there's so much going on right now.
Yeah.
It's just like we probably missing a few of them. You know what I'm
For
saying? We got to tap back in though. So shout out to Happy Monkey. Shout out to the Meadows team. Yeah, that was a good experience for sure.
Nah, for sure. Yeah.
Make sure you tap in. We're gonna be dropping that vlog soon.
For sure.
From day one to the day we got back of our MJBiz Con experience. And yeah, that's it.
Episode 4 coming soon.
Yeah, we gonna hit y'all back to back, man, because we got a lot to talk about.
It's a lot of info, and it's moving so quick. But, you know, shout out to everybody that's tuning into this. Happy holidays.
Yep.
And I just want to take a moment to shout out the plant-based team for pulling up to MJBiz in Vegas, because I know people had to clear their schedule and make some sacrifices to be there, to push the brand and just to represent. So I love that we all came together and we worked as a unit. I think it really came together, like really understand like where we going and what we trying to do.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, so it was lovely just to have everybody together, everybody to kind of just build.
Yes, sir.
And then shout out to our architect team for all the hard work. This creative process is difficult, so for them to listen to us and kind of make what we envision come to light, we really appreciate that as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, shout out to everybody you work with, man. Like, we feel like we've been doing this forever, but like this might really just be the beginning. So yeah, man, shout out to everybody.
Yeah, and until next time, eat good, live good, smoke good.
Keep it base.
Keep it base. Episode 3, man.
Fish scale, they got some weight. Higher risk, high reward is what they say. I only see these youngins taking risks like that each day. To slide into designers and get stripes up on their name. I took my time with my grind. It's money on my mind, I start to stack, I hit my stride. Until I got it.
72 Chevy Blue when I cop it. And show the whole family how to profit.
Walking these shoes one time with this money on your mind. I try to stack, I try to grind. Let's flip the script.
I'm still in the struggle, questing to getting rich. Pedal to the metal, how I'm chasing shit.